Well, it's that time of year again where everything gets a little spooky. It's Halloween. But if you're anything like me, instead of watching something scary, you just tend to inevitably watch Star Wars again. But why not do both? I compiled a list on the best scary / Halloween themed Star Wars stories because, let's be honest, it won't be that scary. Well, let's start off with the Star Wars story that was specifically made for this purpose, the Halloween Lego Special. If you're into cute, spooky Halloween, this is perfect for you. The Lego Specials have always been consistently great, and this one is definitely no different. Even if you're not into the sequel trilogy, there are still stories from all three trilogies and even comic books, so you have a large variety of things that you can be interested in if you're a Star Wars fan. While it's not that scary and definitely more of a thriller story, it's still good if you're into fun Halloween things. Keeping on the same track, Tales from Vader's Castle, which is what the LEGO Halloween Special is based off of. These are great if you prefer reading yourself into the Halloween mood or as a bedtime story for Halloween. The only drawback is that these stories are way more kiddier than everything else on the list. The LEGO one, you'll probably get more of a chuckle out of it, but with these comics, just me, they're way more straightforward. Not to say that they're bad, just not my type of story. Moving on to things on this list made not specifically for Halloween is the Clone Wars episode Brain Invaders, the 8th episode in Season 2. This episode follows Ahsoka Tano and her friend Barriss Offee. The two must try to dock the ship they're on that is infested. First real horror on this list, even though it's not that scary. Another episode in the same arc is Legacy of Terror, Season 2, Episode 7. Obi-Wan and Anakin go through Geonosis caverns and have to face a tough battle through the Geonosis drones to find Jedi Luminara, who have been captured by the Geonosian Queen. This one's in the same arc as Brain Invaders. In my opinion, Brain Invaders is a better Halloween story, but just watch the whole arc. After being alerted of Nute Gunray's escape from Luminara and Ahsoka, Jedi Master Kit Fisto and his former apprentice Nadar Veb followed the tracking beacon on General Grievous' stolen ship to Vask. There they find the lair Grievous. Once they enter the lair, there's a haunted house feeling to the episode and also a little whodunit mystery because, to keep it brief, Count Dooku's testing General Grievous on his ability to defeat the Jedi. So if you're into whodunits or mysteries, this episode is great for you. Basically anything related to the Night Sisters, who are a group of witches we get to see predominantly in the Clone Wars. These are easily some of the best episodes in the Clone Wars, also the most thematic. The episodes deal with loss, newfound family, and discovering yourself. Plus there are witches, so obviously this ties into Halloween, but also puts a twist on the stereotypical witch spooky story. Also deals with the return of Darth Maul and other people related to the final season of the Clone Wars and furthering on to other Star Wars stories. For episodes that I recommend, there is Night Sisters, Monsters, Witches of the Mist, and Massacre. Brothers and Revenge, which are the latter two, deal with the return of Darth Maul. So moving on to Rebels, a little disclaimer: because of how serialized the Clone Wars is, you can really pick up the episodes like Brain Invaders, and the only thing you need to know is who Ahsoka is. And if you watch The Mandalorian, or you know Star Wars in general, you know who Ahsoka is. Or the Night Sister episodes, you need a little introduction for Ahsoka, but also these episodes does show who Asajj Ventress is as well. But with Rebels, there's way more spoilers, and the episodes aren't as serialized, and it's just best to watch Rebels so you can get all the context and not be spoiled about the future of the TV show. Mysteries at Chopper Base. Spoilers for the show: again, Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka prepare to go to Malachor to find the secret to defeat the Sith, while the rest of the Phoenix Squadron have to adjust with the potential of them not being there with them. While on their newly acquired Chopper Base on Adalon, a trooper went missing, and Phoenix Squadron realizes that they're not alone on their planet. This one's really creepy, and as creepy as the Star Wars Rebels can get, honestly. And the spiders is the only thing in Rebels with real scary and spookiness to them. And it's also a mystery to what attacks the Rebels, which I just told you were the spiders. Out of the Darkness, the early episode of the show, Hera and Sabine are stranded on a destroyed former Republic planet Anaxis when Zeb and Ezra don't prepare the shuttle. They must try and fend off ravenous creatures until the Ghost Crew returns to rescue them. If you're a fan of Season 7 of the Clone Wars, you will recognize the planet that they're on. Sabine argues with Hera on how much information she is getting. The Halloween aspects of this episode really shine with the Anaxis creatures, as well as the episode that has a big payoff for the rest of the season when they go back to this planet. One of the few times we see these, quote, filler episodes get a big payoff. Onto The Mandalorian. Season 2, Episode 2. The Mandalorian must find a way to transport a passenger with precious cargo. They evade New Republic X-Wings but crash land on an ice planet. On the caves on the ice planet, they will encounter terrifying ice spiders. This episode is very similar to the Star Wars Rebels one. Heck, they're even based off the same concept art. But it might just be because it's live action and the effects are way better. But this is way more horrifying. And in my opinion, it's the better episode. Yeah, Season 1, Prison prisoner. The Mandalorian must join a mismatched crew of bounty hunters in hopes of rescuing a prisoner from the New Republic prison ship, a mission that is dangerous and more difficult than they expected. This episode, when you watch it, takes inspiration from many horror stories and tropes like the flickering lights when you're about to be attacked, the stereotypical cat that distracts you. All in all, with the twists and turns and betrayal, this is a very nice Star Wars Halloween story to watch. Before I get into the books, I had to mention the Bad Batch episode, Infested. Call me still hurt because a lot of people did not like this episode, me included, but it's not really horror and it's not really scary. It's just like attempt to be. It's just more like thriller, I guess. Unlike Rebels and Clone Wars, where there's still horror tropes in the episode, even when they might not be that scary, this one doesn't. Plus, it's incredibly boring. Death Troopers. And if you want a horror story, this is the book for you. It takes heavy inspirations from popular horror stories such as The Alien and The Shining. While there's a twist in the middle of the story which I dislike, it's still a good story, relatively short, a mature Halloween book story for Star Wars fans. Red Harvest. This one takes place in the Old Republic era, written by the same author, Death Troopers. This one's an alright Halloween story, but there's a reason why people gravitate towards Death Troopers more than this book. And that's it for my recommendations for Star Wars stories from when you're sick of scary movies, or you're like me and you don't care much for Halloween, but you still want an excuse to watch something Star Wars related and not look weird.